Speaking Human.
Today on Speaking Human, we hack our way through USA Network's clever giveaway to promote the show, Mr. Robot. Grab your rootkit, honeypot, and encryption codes and get ready for the social marketing revolution.
Speaking Human.
Welcome to Speaking Human, the official podcast of Monsters Unlimited, a creative agency with a business brain. I'm Shad Conley, Communications Director at Monsters Unlimited. And I gotta say, Patrick, it's kind of weird Christian Slater mysteriously appeared in our podcasting studio this morning. Don't you think?
That is weird, but I am a fan of Christian Slater, so,
Who doesn't love the slates?
Gleaming the cube, my friend.
Pump up the volume.
Oh, yeah. And I'm Patrick Jebber, Creative Director at Monsters Limited. And Chad, I just wanted you to know that I'm officially erasing my identity from the online world right after we post this podcast. I'm sorry.
Oh, so it's official. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is the time.
This is your first time checking out the podcast. Our goal on Speaking Human is to simplify complex marketing topics. We toss aside all the buzzwords and mumbo jumbo to focus on how marketing can bring brands and people together. On today's episode, we're talking about the TV show that had the internet buzzing this summer and the online marketing campaign that helped serve it up to millennial audiences. There's mysterious men in black suits watching us right now. So before they permanently wipe this podcast from the internet, let's get into it.
Hello, friend. We are F Society. Even though you have turned a blind eye to the everyday acts of financial crime committed right under your nose, it's not your fault. We know this is not intentional. We know you have been programmed. While you make ends meet, feed your family, pay your bills, the corporate criminals get richer by the day. They win while you lose. They win because you lose. Because the game is rigged, so we have decided to level the playing field. Over the next 48 hours, we will take control. Watch for our codes as we delete your debt in real time.
What you just heard was an audio clip from a video teaser for the Mr. Robot Hacktivation giveaway. Patrick, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Robot and this unique giveaway?
First, I'll give a brief explanation of the show, Mr. Robot. If you haven't seen the show, you should give it a watch. It follows a young computer programmer who suffers from social anxiety. He's recruited by a hacker group called F Society, you can read into that if you will, whose main goal is to take down a corporation called, wait for it, Evil Corp, which represents corporate greed. So the Mr. Robot promotion was primarily geared towards gamers and millennials, 18 to 49-year-olds, the largest group of USA Network's target audience, who they found were a natural fit for the series. So they partnered with E3, also known as the Electronic Entertainment Expo, which is essentially a gamer conference, and their official live stream partner, Twitch. Now, the promotion was teased online and via the show's network, letting their audience know about a 3-hour live stream where they gave away codes every 30 minutes, giving people a chance to win monetary prizes, with a theme of eliminating their debt, which ties into the show's premise. And that's an overview of the giveaway.
Yeah, and I think they gave away like a total of like $100,000. So the whole thing was like, we're going to eliminate $100,000 of consumer debt.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, ties directly into the show itself. Starting off here, Patrick, some good background. Where are you coming to this from? What's your experience with Mr. Robot? Is this a show you watch, you've heard about? What's the deal?
I do watch this show. My first experience with the show was a free pilot that showed up in iTunes nearly a month before the show's premiere. And to me, the show was very captivating. It was a unique story that was told in a way that I hadn't seen done before. So naturally, I was intrigued, by the show's premise, and it's just very interesting to me. How about you?
Yeah, it's different than anything, else on TV. You don't have a lot of stuff about those. It's interesting, you mentioned how they put the pilot out early too, which in itself is kind of a form of, marketing to the generation they were trying to reach, because that's how I heard about it. I heard about it because you watched it before the show even came on TV, as did my brother. So I heard about it from both of you around the same time, so I was like, wow, it's kind of a ringing recommendation. So obviously that was a marketing tool that worked. I watched it, and probably my favorite thing I saw all summer. Did you finish the entire season?
Yeah, I did. It's hard because you know a little bit more than what they tease in the trailer and what's online, so you don't want to give away spoilers, but it's a very well crafted show, I think.
Definitely a recommended watch, and you give credit to USA Network, who they knew they had something special with this one, which you can tell by the marketing push they put out here, part of which we'll be talking about today.
Yeah. It's a dark, twisted take on that world, and it's much different than anything I've seen on that network before, so it's a nice change of pace for sure.
Very much a show of right now in our world of hacking and identity theft, and it really fits in with a lot of things that are going on in the news right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive into the giveaway. Let's talk about the Hacktivation giveaway. What do you think about it? Did you like it? What does it do well?
I think the giveaway did a few things really well. I think it created mystery around the show and that direct tie-in that we talked about. And yes, if you've listened to anything we've said on the Speaking Human podcast, tie-ins are important. But it also kept it very simple. It appealed to the target audience with these hacker type codes that they, for the giveaways. And then the giveaway was easy to understand, money, instant money. That's easy for people to wrap their brains around. They didn't have to do, you get a free whatever, or you get a free this, and you got to do this to get that. They were giving them money, and who doesn't like that? How about you? What did you think that it did well?
To hit on the same place where you started, this is a marketing effort where the theme, the message, the brand are just totally embedded in the code of it, as I will say. They just really thought it through. The contest is giving something away that directly ties to the show. The audience they're hitting is the audience they want to watch this show, who they think will be interested in it. It's all right there. It's so thematically glued tightly together that it's just incredibly effective, in my opinion. You think about using E3 and Twitch and how those tie in with the audience you want to reach, who is this kind of tech-savvy audience, people who would be interested in the show. And then you look at your prize, erasing debt, something that, certainly a lot of young people are looking to do. So that was a driver. So I just thought in that respect, it's really well done. Theme. It's totally there from start to finish.
Yeah. And we talk about this so much, in terms of tie-ins and from the ground up. This is just a win.
It's very well thought out and very well put together. And using that then as a springboard, let's talk about what makes kind of a successful social online giveaway, because you see a lot of these now. There's a lot of social media contests. You'll see them pop up in your Facebook stream like crazy. What makes for a good one? How can you construct one that you get something out of? From a marketing standpoint, you're getting a return on giving away whatever it is you're giving away.
Well, I'll start off. I'll go through a few on my list, and then, I'll kind of bounce it back to you because I know you're going to have some good stuff too. The first and foremost is an audience. I think many social giveaways are great ideas that often fall flat because the brand doesn't have an audience or a following, or they don't have a clear understanding of who their audience is. And that makes all the difference in the world, as you and I both know, finding your audience first, right? The second, which ties into the first, and what you saw with this promotion, is USA identified the audience they thought was the right fit for their show. Was it the right audience? And how they came to that conclusion, that's the tip, right? Do the research, think through the premise of your product or service and who it logically appeals to, then go after them, as they say.
Maybe you're going to hit on this too. Who your audience is has a big impact on what social networks you're using in that process, based on your demographic information.
Yeah, absolutely. Your audience plays a part in all of your decision making from that point forward. We've talked about it so much in the past that I sort of gleamed over that, but that is true. You definitely want to have the channels that speak to that audience in mind when you're promoting whatever that giveaway or social online promotion is. And then lastly, for me, is just as important as the first two, the giveaway has to be appealing to that audience you're targeting, right? Of course, money is always an incentive, but it doesn't have to be money. It just has to be something worth it to that specific audience. So that's the other part of the equation is, having that giveaway be appealing to them.
Yeah, all good stuff. In my notes, I kind of have 5 things make a successful social or online giveaway. You want to make sure you have that strong tie-in between your content, your prize, and your message or branding. You don't want people to enter your contest and not know who you are, what you're even promoting, which you see a lot of times. People are just entering to win something. Maybe I'm entering to win an iPad or a vacation, but I have no idea who the company is or how this relates to them. You have to make that clear. That's number 1 priority. Just giving away something, people will always sign up to win something. People love free stuff. There's no doubt about it. But if you can tie that to, what you're doing, what it is you're promoting, if you're giving away a prize that has something unique about it, something that it's not just something you can find anywhere in a store, but something that ties directly to your brand or what you're trying to do, all the better, And then another thing you touched on, my number 3, is your rules. How can you make it as easy as possible for people to sign up while still getting something from, which you want? There should be some sort of call to action involved, whether that's getting a social follow, them giving you your email address. You want to be able to get something out of the person signing up while making it as simple as possible for them to actually do it. And then kind of the last 2 components of it are in your execution. You got to promote. Give your contest some time to gain a following, get some steam, and let people know about it nonstop on social. The 5th one, or the second part of that, is making it shareable. That's the key to successful contests, as you mentioned, is getting people to pass this information around, share it back and forth. It's social media. That's what it's all about. So when you can get that audience to be pushing it out there for you, that's when you're achieving your goal.
In the end, that helped them make a successful promotion.
The difference between, defining here's a giveaway versus a successful giveaway from a marketing standpoint, right, is the strategy behind it. It's rather than just posting, hey, we're giving away this, follow us, and you get it.
Yeah.
Here's something where, all right, we're giving away this. Come here and watch this preview. Then you have a chance to win all this money. There's all these building blocks in place, building off of each other. So you're accomplishing a marketing goal while you're connecting with people, because just getting people to sign up, yeah, that's an important aspect, but that's not everything. You still need to be accomplishing a marketing goal on your end. So, kind of wrapping things up today, taking all these things we talked about, what's your top takeaway for brands from the Mr. Robot giveaway?
Well, I think a lot of what we've already said in the episode can be broken down as the great takeaways, but I'll go a step further and then simplify. 3 words: know your brand. If you look at this promotion, you see elements of what we've been saying all along in many episodes, but including this one, and it all comes back to knowing your brand, really, the soul of what you're pushing out. And that drives your decisions and ultimately helps you communicate with your customers. Because if you know your brand, down the line, it will actually help you drive better decisions. Knowing your target audience leads you to know which channels you should be in, and so on and so on. So it helps you communicate with your customers, which is essentially what you're doing in any giveaway.
Yeah, I think that's dead on, and always a useful tip and thing to think about. And to piggyback off that, my takeaway is what I've been saying all along. I'm going to be like a parakeet and repeat. Make an effort to strongly tie your contest to your message. You got to fuse those 2 things together. And the Mr. Robot giveaway is a great example of that. I'll give you another one that I found, which was Dove's Real Beauty Should Be Shared contest, which kind of tied into a marketing campaign they were doing. But this contest consisted of a fill-in-the-blank contest with photos where they asked them to people to submit their friends who represent real beauty, giving their name and 2 things that make them beautiful. Now, the prize in this is pretty interesting. The winners of this were used in the actual Dove marketing campaign. The Real Beauty Should Be Shared campaign they did, tied to that. So that's just a really good example of the theme driving the contest versus the contest just existing in its own universe by itself.
They know that this is the type of social promotion that resonates with them. So would they give away hacker codes because they want to eliminate their debt? No, that's the difference between the theme and the brand and what they're trying to sell. So going back, sometimes like we've talked about in past episodes, knowing your brand It seems like an obvious, like a common sense thing, but sometimes you have to go back and reevaluate what your brand is, at some point, because you are looking to do things like this and you have to say, okay, our brand is this. Let's explore that a little bit more. What kind of messages could we put out there that would help us market our brand better to our customers? And it's not always obvious,
It's just a key aspect that needs to be in there every time. And you're right, you have to revisit it because you almost take it for granted on the marketing end that this needs to be at the core. People need to remember or take away this. They shouldn't be like, oh, I just gave my email for some contest. I don't know who it was or what it was for. You want to get that message through. And that all starts with having that brand at the core and, spinning that message off of it so that it's tied around your social content, your prize, and your message or branding.
Yeah. Anything else that we can give our listeners today?
I think we've given our listeners so much. I don't know if we have any more we could possibly give.
I hope this podcast really doesn't get erased, by the way, from the internet.
Yeah. Well, there's a good chance, they could take us down. So there's a chance no one will ever hear this.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. A real shame.
It'll be sad. Well, that's it.
Sad.
Well, that's it for today's episode. You can find current and past episodes of the podcast at speakinghuman.com. You can also subscribe, rate, and review the Speaking Human podcast in the iTunes store.
Email us with your thoughts on the Mr. Robot Hacktivation giveaway or any questions or comments whatsoever. Feedback@thinkmonsters.com. That's feedback@thinkmonsters.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Speaking Human. Catch you then, humans.
Speaking Human.